Okay, coaches, here's my advice for developing a program. Number one, at the youth level, you want one coach who's basically the chief. He's wearing the hat. He's the guy with the whistle. You don't want random wrestling coaches and dads coming in and running practice. One guy's in charge, and you have some helpers. Now, at the youth level, you have two practice plans. One is your beginner / novice. Maybe it's 4 to 14-year-olds, right? All beginners. And you can fast track some of those more advanced kids and move them up. Your second practice plan is your experienced youth program. And then at the high school level, you have a beginner / novice practice plan. Then you have your varsity practice plan. At the high school level, these kids within about a month, let's say by December 15th, they should be doing this practice plan. Okay, so the goal is to merge them very quickly. And so that's number one. You want to have a set of drill routines in place, not random moves. No one's going to show up to practice and say, hey, I learned this move on Instagram. We're going to try this today. None of that. 95% of your points come from 5% of the wrestling. Your wrestling needs to get smaller, not bigger. I learned that at Oklahoma State. And we can go into that later. But so you have a system in place, practice plans, and then number two, you want to have a recruiting system in place for the youth. You know, you can go to the elementary schools and have flyers passed out by the PE class. You know, when I was a teacher in Texas years ago, we would have we would go to the lunchtime and set up a table with a highlight video and have sign-ups, and then we would contact the parents and the ones that actually showed up to the meeting, which was very few, but you know, you get 10, you get 12, and then they bring friends, and then 5 quit, and then pretty soon you end up the season with 20, and then next year, you know, you have 20 more, now you have 40, and you're looking at everything. I look at everything from a 3-year path. Where are we going to be 3 years from now? That's just kind of how my brain works. I don't think past 3 years. Everything is based on a 3-year plan. Okay, so you have a recruiting plan in place. Now at the high school level, your goal is not to walk around the hallways and recruit random kids out of the hallway. You might have to do that in the beginning, but your goal is to have so many kids coming in that you don't have room for everybody. Now, so I don't get beat up in the comment section, sure, if someone wants to join wrestling, they're always allowed, right? But you know, Cale Sanderson's not having success because he's recruiting JV kids out of high school. He's recruiting world champions, world-class athletes. Seriously, their athleticism is world-class. There's not many athletes like that walking around a wrestling mat. He's a tremendous coach, but he's not starting from scratch. And so your goal is to quit starting from scratch. So I would say that's number one. Is the practice plans and system in place, people in charge that teach the system as you outlined. Number two, have a recruiting program in place, primarily at the youth and middle school level. And then number three, you want to have some kind of off-season program where all of these groups, the beginner novice kids and the advanced youth, and then your high school team are all invited. And so let's say you're on the mat twice a week, you know, for a couple of hours. If you have an off-season program in place, I think it can be a very tremendous, you're going to understand that if I tell my academy kids, if you just come to one practice a week year-round, you're going to get 640 matches worth of live wrestling plus 52 hours of drill time, because our practices are 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we always get a good hour plus of live wrestling, which is very important. So having an off-season program, there are kids that want to do it, and they just don't have a place to do it. So if you understand that, sure, maybe only 15% of your kids are going to come in the off season, and you know, you keep attendance. You're like, hey, you haven't been here for 2 weeks. Where you been? You know, out of sight, out of mind. So hey, just pick up the phone, text those kids, chat with the parent. We'd love to have you back. Oh, you can't come twice a week. Can you come once a week? Okay, well, how about when baseball is rained out? It happens all the time. Half the practices are rained out. Can you come to practice then? We really want you guys involved, and we understand you can't dedicate your whole life to this, but if you can stay involved just, you know, a handful of times, it's going to add up. So if you do those 3 things, I feel like over the course of the next 2 to 3 years, you can have a program that runs itself. And setting systems in place is vital. So for example, you're not going to go to the booster club meetings. You know, he or she's in charge of the booster club. Here's what we need. Here's the fundraisers we want to do. You want to do these fundraisers. Okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. And obviously you could have a Purler wrestling fundraiser camp. We have teams make over 20 grand in a week, and there's no exaggeration there. I have teams that do 2 camps a year, and they make so much money, and they're making more money than the athletic director. So our private team camps could be something you can do. But hey, if you want to wash cars, sell candles, sell pizza, do that too. Not a lot of money in it, but you can do that. So you have the fundraisers. You say, I'm not going to the Booster Club meetings. I'm the head coach. I'm kind of managing the youth program. I'm coaching all weekend. I've got 3 kids at home of my own. I have hardly seen because football had me working 80 hours a week. I'm not going to the Booster Club meeting, and I'm also not mopping mats. Right, the mat should be mopped and completely dry before practice even begins. So get a system in place for that. You know, you want to have a system in place for everything. Anything that needs to be done that you're doing, you want to remove yourself from. Hey, this assistant coach, he can get there at 6 a.m. and check the kids' weight. I'm not getting there at 6 a.m., right? Hey, this coach can run some of these off-season practices. This coach can go to 2 summer tournaments. I don't have to do it all, right? And if we need a Booster Club representative, hey, this guy can go. I'm not going to go to every youth practice, but I'll hop into a few, right? And then at the team banquet, try to have everybody. You want your program to be youth, middle school, high school, and if you can swing it and you have a banquet at the end of the year, or maybe there's just no room, you should go to the youth banquet and sit up at the front and be a big part of it as well. Not to take over from what the youth coaches are doing that you have been in charge of anyway, but you know, you want to be involved with the important stuff that drive the program forward, but you don't need to be taping mats, mopping mats, standing on the street corner, waving your arms, selling pizza coupons. You're not doing these things. Other people can do some of these things. You're going to do the important things. And when you learn to quit trying to do it all and you just do the things, we call them impact areas. There are areas that impact our progress. That's all I do. I'm not doing this other stuff. All right. I have a sign in my office that says there is now a different demand on my time, because there is a different demand on my time. You know, because when we have 24 practices a week and 600 academy kids, I only run 1 practice a week, but it's going very well. We just had our 44th wrestler sign D1 and our 111th kid sign into college wrestling just in the past 6 years. 32 of those D1 kids came within a 5.5 year period, and 98 of our college recruits came in a 5 to 5.5 year period. So there was a big, huge bubble there, but we still have some that are making it. But we are in a rebuilding phase. We lost a lot of great athletes, and we're rebuilding right now. And I'm not even worried about it because we have a system and infrastructure in place, and I'm not the one trying to do everything and killing myself. So, you know, there's a few things you can do. I appreciate you following us, and I hope you guys have awesome success and you don't run yourself ragged. You want to build a program that runs itself. You don't want to have a program that runs you ragged, because that's when people quit, because there's just simply not enough hours in a day. You only have so much that you can take. And when you build your program like it's a business and you're the president or the CEO, it can kind of run itself in a way. And all you got to do is manage the chessboard. And I think that's the best way. So I wish you guys awesome success.